what your country can do for you. The white man is the oppressor.
Well, I'm not a crime.
I'm the greatest.
I am somebody.
Read my lips.
I have a dream.
Planes left Iranian airspace.
Overcome. The best is yet to come.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered today to get through this thing called life. An electric word, life, and that means forever. But there's something else, and that's a mighty long time. It's the Grapevine, the Tampa Grapevine. Welcome back, folks. We are taping this program. It's June 11th. It's 12:08 on the dial. It's a lovely hot day in the FLA. I want to thank Erica and the advanced class. I want to thank Tampa Bay Community Network for providing the forum for the freedom of speech. And that's a window that is closing, folks. And right now, I also want to thank my father for, we both wore red today, even though mine's a little darker. We did not call and coordinate beforehand, but I want to thank him back again for father and son, father and son rendition.
What edition is this?
We're on 13, Dad, which I know is an unfortunate number, so let's make the most of this, okay?
Well, you know why 13 is an unlucky number?
Please expound.
Friday the 13th is when Louis, the King of France, had all his troops go out for the Knights Templar because he owed them too much money. It was on Friday the 13th.
There you go, folks.
It's all history.
Useless. No, it's the minutia, folks. And if you trust me, the minutia is what keeps us going. Because otherwise, we wouldn't have conversations. Like I would go, Dad, how are the Rays doing? They suck. Okay, goodbye. Love you. But
they won.
Yes, they did, and thank you for that. It is, Dad, Christmas. It's June 11th. It's hotter than sin outside, but yet Christmas comes early in June. And when I say Christmas, Dad, I say Santa Claus is coming to town. He's knows when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, but guess what? You better build that wall straight because Donald Trump is coming to town.
Oh, he's here.
He's here. In fact,
He's here.
Hold on. Can you, yes, there is a definite, it's almost like one of those center things that spritz the center, you know, gives you that I don't know, that, as you call him, I believe, Dad, before the show, you mentioned that he kind of looked like Ronald McDonald.
He does.
And I'm thinking Grimace, Mayor McCheese. Actually, Mayor McCheese. That would be a great name for a guy that ran for governor or mayor. Mayor McCheese. It's just cheese. But yes, Donald Trump is here. It was the night before Christmas, and all throughout the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a dumbass that protests the Trumps and clicking a mouse. By the way, okay, Trump protesters, got a little message for you. Because right now, I know you're simmering. You're sitting out there, you're not watching. This show will not air until next Wednesday.
Yeah.
But as we speak, the Trumpinator is here. The heir apparent is here. And since Milwaukee, when CNN and Fox and NBC and all you lovely little lettered networks,
the pundits.
Yes.
The pundits. I like that word.
Pundits is good.
Yeah.
Yes, pundits. Goes good with cheese. But, and there's a lot of cheese here because frankly, the Trump protesters, I thought they were number one on my list, Dad, of people that really annoy the shizzle out of me. But guess what annoys me even more is the networks that show the people throwing punches, people doing their, trumping or whatever the heck they're doing. And yet, and frankly, the one thing, Dad, and I love you, and Father's Day is next week, and I'm gonna give you a heads up, love you, but the Trump protesters, why is nobody, and when they do stick a microphone in front of them, they go, what are you protesting? Trump. Okay, okay,
Well,
expound on this. Please, elaborate. Why are you throwing punches and going violent? And also, you lettered networks. Why do you keep showing it 24/7? Because you're soaking it up. And Dad, I will let you have the floor, but guess whose ratings has gone up 130%? CNN. And MSNBC, which nobody watches, including the people that work there, it's up 30%. Fox, of course, love you, Fox. You know, Dick Cheney was your favorite fan, which really says a lot about Fox. But their ratings are up. Trump, in one sense, has gotten a lot of people aware of what's going on in politics. But the Trump protesters and Tampa Bay, the Tampa Police Department, they really frown upon that. So please, I don't want to go home today, Dad, now it's 12 on a Saturday. At this very moment, he's probably speaking, because this is the time that he's doing it. I don't want to go home after I eat my Panera Bread sandwich, thank you, Panera Bread, to watch dumbasses protesting. You're at the floor, Dad.
It just reminds me of kids, little children in kindergarten. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, you didn't. Just slapping around. When it comes to things like that, all I can think about is Voltaire. I may disagree with what you say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it.
That is one of my favorite quotes.
Yeah, and if you disagree with somebody, fine. Smacking them is not going to change. Have you tried persuasive arguments?
A little bit of knowing what you're protesting about.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but just
let's
just
put it
correct.
this way: the people who are for Trump haven't got a clue what he stands for anyway. Well, he doesn't know what he stands for.
But and thank you, Dad. By the way, in case you're not paying attention, every time Trump speaks, he says the same thing. He says the exact same thing. He's literally, and that is a word I know I've been using a lot, and Dad charges me a nickel every time I say that, but literally, that's 10 cents. Everything he says is, well, I'm going to bring in good people. And see, that's the part that I'm a little concerned about. I'm sitting there going, Hillary, Trump, Hillary. Clinton, Trump, if you don't vote, you're a chump. But yet, my boss Paul made a great point. He goes, I don't want either one of them. And yet again, Dad, we're going for the lesser of two evils. But yet, part of me goes, Hillary's got, yes, I know she's got a lot more, Trump scares the shizzle out of me if he's standing in front of Putin or China or...
That's his buddy. He loves Putin. He really admires him.
Oh God! Please tell me I won't see a shirtless picture of Trump and Putin riding horses, because every picture
naked for the way.
Yeah, every picture of Putin, he's putting no shirt on. I don't want to see that.
It's the macho thing,
Yeah, well, it actually scares me more than the whole Cold War and the missile thing.
Well, these guys, it's called sell the sizzle, not the steak.
This is true.
There's no substance there. There's just.
Yeah, and I feel a little seared on that. By the way, folks, I know normally we do this earlier.
Yep.
But bring your passport. The passport to the Grapevine. The passport declared. Wow.
Hit with a thud.
Wow.
It was a belly flop.
Wow. Okay. Belly flops. And this is the way I love my TV show. And one of the things that people have pointed out, this man sitting next to me has known me relatively most of my life, 99% of it. Met him when I was 2 or 3. We got along. He adopted me. We got the last name. And one of the things I know in Eric in advanced class, and this is the part where people go, Dean, you get caught up in the transitions. If you can please bring the pool, I love the pool shot. And by the way, children, be safe. Learn how to swim. Adults, be safe. We lose too many kids this year, and right now it's June 11th, and it's hot. Mm-hmm. But if you can perhaps put up the pool background, but we've talked about this. Growing up in the Keys, thank you, Erica. Thank you, advanced class. Once again, as always, I appreciate you. And we lived in Summerlin Key on a canal, and I remember just learning how to swim. The fact that Boyce and Pat, Mom's parents, and you and Mom instilled in me to not fear the water, and if something happened, don't panic. But one of the things you also, when we moved up to Clearwater, I went to the YMCA camp. Mm-hmm. So picture this. I'm maybe 7, 8 years old, and this is the part that every kid knows this experience. Every kid, and if you haven't done it, you're probably smarter for it. The high dive. The highest point of the pool.
3 meter.
Oh, well, you got your little, no.
1 meter board.
You got your little, yeah, and those are cool, man. You can kind of bounce off them and, peer pressure is a dangerous thing, guys. Peer pressure is a dangerous thing. Hey, Dean, why don't you go up and high dive and, do your thing. I grew up in water. I swam.
We never dove.
We never dove. Dad, that's a great statement because we never dove. And guess what? They put me on the high dive. And I'm all of 7 or 8 years old. And I'm looking down. It's a long way, Dad. It's a long way. When you're I know I was a big kid, and I'm still a big kid, but that's a long way, folks. So now, of course, the longer I spend on the high dive, contemplating this situation, thinking about, okay, I'm basically jumping what feels like 3 stories off a building into water. And as my father pointed out, we never dove. So I'm kind of new to this. Long story short, as the time I'm spending now on the dive, and I'm like, you can hear the board, and I'm inching closer, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to do a Greg Louganis. I don't want to hit my head on the board and suddenly, there's ambulances called at the YMCA in Clearwater. As I'm standing there, and at this point, I'm thinking, as I look back on this, and I haven't thought about this in 40 years, I may have spent a little too long on that high, because the crowd started to gather. All the kids. Now they're expecting, you can almost hear them chant, "Dude, jump!" It's like, it's like I'm a suicide jumper on a building, and people are going, you're either going to land on the water, or you're going to bounce off the board and perhaps maybe take out a few people. Dan, the one time I went up to high dive, I was like a swan. I was literally like a swan. I went into the air, and then the biggest belly flop in the history of man. The biggest belly flop. I hit the water like I hit concrete, and I went down. No one came for me, and I went down, and I recovered. Got up, got to the side, climbed up that little ladder. Now, everyone has witnessed the fact that I've just parted the seas like
Nah.
I parted the
Moses didn't do a belly flop.
But there was still water parted, okay? Because I went completely belly flop. I get up and it's probably my first and one of many concussions, which explains a lot. Blood is running down my nose. Now, I don't realize at this point, so I'm kind of dazed and confused, and I'm standing there in the middle of the YMCA, and everyone's looking at me, and I'm just pouring blood because of my bloody nose. That was my introduction, folks, to belly flops, and I know your folks are sitting at home and going, thank you for sharing that lovely story, but high dives, lovely. Dad, you got something in the mail.
Yeah, I did.
Hold on, this is actually, I don't think people will be wearing this at the Trump rally right now. I vote for Democrats, or actually, it should be, I vote for meerkats. The meerkats that, do this. I think a meerkat for president could be an option. Dad, you got that in the mail. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I've never voted a straight party ticket in my life. I try to vote for the person who I think can do the best job. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. But to do just a straight party, that's towing the line. That means you're not guilty, of being able to create your own opinions. Oh, you want me to do that? Okay, fine, that's what I'll do. Where's the line? Let me tow it. I just can't hold with that. I've got a brain, you've got a brain, and I make my own decisions. I will never vote straight Democrat, never vote a straight Republican. It's just ain't gonna happen. Vote for the person that you think can do the best job. And gather all the facts before you do that, or as many as you possibly can.
By the way, what he just said and thank you for that transition, but what he just said is important, folks. Educate yourself. Learn about who you're voting for. And when I was in Texas, before I moved to Tampa in 2000, that was when I turned off my TV, turned off everything, and just became involved in what was going on in the world. So I was in Ground Zero in Dallas, Texas in 2000, and I can remember when Gore and Bush were coming to Texas. They're coming, and they're coming. And this is what they told me, Dad. They said, you need to, and this is, swear to God, verbatim, this is what was on the news and on the radio. It's not so much what they're saying, it's how they speak and how they dress. And I'm sitting there going, hold on. This is not a Men's Warehouse ad. I guarantee you, if you vote for the right candidate, he's going to be wearing a sporty suit. That works fine. It's how they speak and how they look. And it was not just repeated once.
Was this a local station? Or
that was when radio blew up and communication and the internet in 2000. And that was how they were preparing us as voters, Dad. I felt very prepared. I'm thinking, who looks good in Armani? Who looks good, perhaps, in the Men's Warehouse thing? But frankly, that's how stupid most of these people, and you people out there, and you know who you people are, because you're screwing it up for the rest of us. But that's how stupid they think you are. So as my father said, educate yourself. Don't just pull the Chad or dimple, just.
Either that, or you can say, "Don't confuse me. The facts. My mind's made up."
Once again, he's going all quote time, because those are some of my favorite quotes, and Dad, I seem to recall we've used that more than a few times in conversations.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
I'm stuck in the 80s.
Okay.
Or the 60s.
I'm wearing, actually, I'm stuck in the 80s, and I'm wearing balloon pants. I look like I'm running to the border, but we won't discuss that, because no one knows what's going down. Toyota Tampa Bay. Dad, I love this letter, and I get this every couple months. Dear Mr. Chambers, I am writing you today because I need, the word is need to purchase your 2009 Toyota Corolla. Dad, I know there's starving children. I know there's victims and refugees around the world.
Got needs too.
But I'm starting to feel the pressure of having to sell my Toyota Corolla, because now this is quite possibly, since I bought this 5 years ago, and this is probably my 50th letter. And this is not the fanciest. What they've done before, they send me the fancy plastic thing, where if you scratch off and you could do the key, and they put the key, and they're like, come down to Toyota on Saturday, and we're gonna take your car away. I'm sorry, but look at this. It's personal, Dad. It's personalized. He actually wrote this, and could you perhaps do a? I know it's hard to see, but okay, right there. He actually, and this is the first time that somebody's actually taken a pen and wrote to me about my car. No, because normally it's a form letter.
That is a form letter. They can do that now.
Is this like the auto pen that the presidents were using?
Yep.
Is this when you're trying to?
Yeah, sure.
Is this what
that dresses it up so
Dad,
that you think somebody actually took the time to do it?
I felt love. I felt like he was reaching out, saying, "I need your Corolla. Look, I can't live without your 2009 Corolla with the scratches on the back. Thank you for the jackass that hit me in Publix." But Dad, you sucked the fun out of this, because look at this. Call me right away, and it's signed Mike. This is Mike. So actually, right now, hold on.
Don't call Mike.
No, I'm going to call Toyota Tampa Bay and talk to Mike about my car. No, I'm just messing with you. But no, look at the bottom. Yeah. Mr. Chambers, we need, and this is in pen down here.
Is it really?
No. Okay, I think you used the crayon. We need your 2009 Corolla. Please call us.
The number.
And there's some.
Yeah.
Hold on. Make this happen, Dad. I think I need a lawyer. I'm afraid I'm going to wake up one day and Toyota Tampa Bay you're going to hear that noise, beep, 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 and they're taking my Corolla, because I did not respond to the love that I felt, which I just hit myself in the head with that. And by the way, that was the first.
You felt that love.
I actually, folks, I've thrown a lot of things at the camera. Been doing this since September 11th, 2001. I have done this and I've hit myself again. So this is how evil this letter is.
It's a boomerang effect.
It is a boomerang effect. I've thrown this now twice, and I wanted to holy crap, it hit me again. Dad, okay, Once, twice, 3 times.
You leave it alone.
I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving right along.
Moving right along, as my dad says, focusing. Muhammad Ali. Came home yesterday after work. This is June 11th. The memorial was yesterday. And he is somebody that we were going to talk about here for a little while. He is somebody that not only, he's one of those athletes and one of those sports people like I talk about, like the Ward Duns of this world, the people that, outside of the arena, in fact, Erica, are you in there? Can you, I love you, girl. Can you change the set and maybe put that like stadium look in the back? We haven't done that in a long time. And I know people are going, Deanch, but it's about advanced class, but I like the stadium in the back. His arena was the ring. This man, 1942 to 2016. I came home yesterday. I watched the memorial, and Billy Crystal was doing his moment there about. And Billy, if you want to check on, thank you so much. By the way, we just freshly watered and mowed the lawn. That's why I look a little sweaty right now. But I thank you, Erica, for bringing us in there. Billy Crystal, who does an amazing thing if you Google it, it's called 50 Rounds with Muhammad Ali. And he does Howard Cosell's voice and he does Muhammad's. And it's like a conversation. And if anyone I'm 49 and this man is a youthful 60-ish, and we won't go there. I love you, Dad. But anybody that's grown up in our time frame, I remember what an event, like when he fought Frazier, when he fought Foreman. And that was back in the day. Yes, back in the day when we had 3 channels. There was no pay-per-view, there was no cable, there was no nothing. And
actually there was. You would not at home though, because they showed the one of his fights, I think it was a Liston fight down at Bayfront Center.
Yep.
And I think it was like $7.
Yeah.
And by the time my buddies and I got there, it was over. It was in the first round.
Yeah.
We were running a little late, and bam.
Yeah.
We get there and everybody's bailing out.
Well, and I just remember what an event. And I know boxing, it's a blood sport, folks. We've been gladiators since the day we stood up and went clunk. But Muhammad Ali is one of those people that, even though for the last 30 years he has suffered from Parkinson's disease, which is a result from the rope-a-dope. When you have a Frazier beating you for 3 fights, when you have a George Foreman, who frankly, George Foreman, yeah, we all love his grills, but the man was freakishly big and freakishly scary. And Muhammad Ali said, hit me, hit me, hit me, and the result of that is the Parkinson's. But what he's done, and one thing I'm thankful, Dad, it seemed like he had good people around him, because that's the key. That's the key, because easily he could have been taken advantage of because of his condition.
Okay, quick story.
Yes.
You remember Frank Forey from the Keys?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They babysat me. Yes.
No, not Frank Parker. Frank
Forey.
Forey.
Different Frank.
Forey.
Different Frank.
Frank was a retired FBI agent.
Yes.
And his wife Pat. They used to live in South Miami. Their next door neighbor was Angelo Dundee.
Nice.
Frank would tell stories of him meeting Muhammad at Angelo's house because they were right next door to each other. And what a gentleman. Frank, being a retired FBI agent, still had great respect for Ali. And that was back when he was just a kid.
Well, see, Angelo Dundee, and who we've lost, would call into WDA.
Yeah, he moved up here.
And 620, and one of the favorite moments, and I'm an AM sports fan, love you 620, but he would call in, and you know what the greatest part about what they did? They didn't. Normally, when you're doing a radio show, you've got 8-minute segments, and then you do commercials. They would just let him go. Just let him go. It's like Dick Vitale. He's one of those people who's also somebody local and does so much for charity. And Angelo Dundee, that man was so rich with history that he literally, it was like sitting there talking to your grandfather or something and thinking, wow, this is history that I hope we never forget. But Muhammad Ali, let's talk about Muhammad Ali. The Louisville Lip. He's buried, and yes, one of his many nicknames. He's buried, and he's going to be buried in Louisville. Here's the part that let's do some history. Let's set the Wayback Machine here. 1960, he wins the Olympic gold medal in boxing. He comes back home to Louisville. He can't sit at the counter. He can't rent a hotel room with the rest of the folks. He's not able to buy a house, which later on in the mid 60s, picture this, Dad, and he was in Houston, Texas, and he wanted to buy a nice house. The homeowners associations, and you know who you are, and you're still evil, frankly, but no, you're gold medalist, world champ, got the money, but you're black. Sorry, not acceptable. We're not letting you buy the house. And then Vietnam. He lost 3.5 years to Vietnam because he protested, and that's when he went from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. He protested the war in Vietnam. And Dad, at that time, like the Hanoi Janes, Jane Fondas, and the rest of them, it was anti-American. And that's the reason why so many of the people that fought in Vietnam came back and were spit on, were looked down upon. But guess what? Here's the thing this is where history really plays if you pay attention. It's 2016, it's been 50 years, actually no, 40 years, 75 is when we left, when you see the video of the helicopters picking up people, and we're dumping all the equipment in the ocean, and we ran like Forrest Gump from Vietnam, because it was 15 years of
unwinnable war.
Home field advantage. Afghanistan, ring a bell? Yeah.
That was
home.
Yeah, we
but
should never go.
Anyway. But it's the same theory. Never should have been there. And if you spoke out against it, or if you went to Canada, or if you tried to get a deferment, you were looked down upon. And guess what? Muhammad Ali spoke out against it. And this is something that I've got a good friend of mine that I went to high school with, and I talk to regularly. You know him, and I'm not going to mention his name because I love you, brother. But I mentioned Muhammad Ali, the greatest, yes, the greatest. And oh, by the way, that's my dad. There's a phone call.
I forgot to kill it. It's killed.
Okay. On that note, Muhammad Ali, I mentioned to my friend, and I said, he's passed, and his response was, Dad, I'm glad he's dead. And I'm like, what? He goes, oh yeah, his anti-American Vietnam thing. And this guy is 49, he's my same age, 49 years old. We were both born in 67. He was a kid when he was 1 year old when Muhammad Ali protested about America. But to this day, love you, bro, but I can't agree with that comment of, I'm glad he's dead. Because this is a man that has done more for Parkinson's disease. In the 96 Olympics, I was up in Anchorage in the 96. When here's one moment, if you really want to see how incredible he was and how his strength, he had to climb those stairs to light the torch.
He burned the heck out of himself.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, and the last couple steps, you could tell he was struggling, but he did it. And the spirit, and just, he's one of those people that, I don't know, in this iconic photo, Sonny Liston, the greatest. You may not be a boxing fan, you may not be a Muhammad Ali fan, but if there's one thing you should remember about this man, he did more outside the ring than most people do in their lifetime, and that's, to me, something to be. And I'm going to do the dash at the end of the show, that little dash between, on your tombstone, the year you were born and the year you died, that little dash is your life. And we're going to do that at the end of the show to dedicate to Muhammad Ali and those who have passed. Oh, I think a Trump drone just came in, Dad. I think we're getting monitored here. Yes, folks, the race is on. And I've tried to not talk about this, but it's hard not to since we have Hurricane Trump in Tampa. Obama endorses. Thank you. Hooked on Phonics was a program that my parents obviously did not pay for, and I'm suffering from it. Trump tries new chapter in campaign. How about actually writing a book that we all can appreciate and read and not, fear you? Trump is the Ross Perot of the 2016
Oh,
election.
no. Ross Perot was an honorable man.
He was, but he was the wild card. He was
Oh,
the
he was the
he
wild
was the
card.
businessman.
Well, you know, when we lived in Texas,
Yes.
there was a sale at Dillard's on suits. I go to Dillard's to purchase sport coat, things like that. And I look in the rack, and all I can see is ears on the other side. There's Ross Perot buying off the rack. And he just sold EDS to Chrysler for what?
Billion.
$4 billion?
Yeah.
And the guy's buying on. He didn't care.
I'll tell you what, the best thing about Ross Perot is when he had some folks left behind in a...
That was in Iran.
Yeah, and he went in there and he was like, government, can you help us get our guys back?
No, we can't do that.
No, so what he did, he took the initiative to actually do that. And that's one thing, guys, I think we need to get back to that. We need to cowboy up a little bit here. Dad, light bulbs.
Yep.
Light bulbs. Lovely light bulbs. This is what...
A fluorescent bulb.
Yes, or as I like to call it, the pigtail. It looks like a curled up pigtail. Now, we were talking about this. In fact, Erica in the dance class, I mentioned, oh, by the way, do you know the warnings about these light bulbs if in case you happen to drop them? And by the way, my dad just flinched. He's like, oh crap, the mercury's coming out.
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't, but come on. I try to work this out before the show. I'm like, Dad, react to what I'm doing here. I'm dropping a radioactive.
Oh, my. How's that?
We got to work on our time.
Oh, my.
Better, actually. Thank you for that. And if Erica in advanced class, they do that, there's a transition where it goes whoosh, like a shining light thing. And I know people go, Dean, stop doing the producing part. But, okay. Now, warning. This is the official government warning about the light bulb. Replace those lovely Edison bulbs, who, by the way, Edison didn't invent the bulb, somebody else did, but he took the patent, but we won't talk about that. That's other history. Warning, Dad. Okay, Dad, I want you to share with the people at home, what does the government tell us if we drop this light bulb that we've all had to go and buy because the old ones
are the incandescents.
Yeah, and there we. Oh, thank you. And
evacuate the room.
Taking
care not to step on the shards of glass littering the floor. Do not use a vacuum cleaner to clean up the mess, as the machine's sucking action could spread toxic mercury droplets around the house.
Ooh.
Yeah. Put on rubber gloves. Well, I may as well get the whole suit on.
We're talking hazmat day.
Yeah.
Radiation.
Sweep the debris into a dustpan. Place the remains in a plastic bag and seal it. They still have sealing wax with the signet rings and the seal.
You're going Game of Thrones on me, Dad. Love you.
Do not put the bag in a normal household dustbin. We don't have a dustbin.
Where does one put the bag, Dad? Baghdad? That
No.
was bad.
Yeah.
Baghdad? Where do you put the bag, Dad?
Put it in where they recycle batteries. And try not to inhale dust from the broken bulb.
Dad, if I had a nickel for every time I inhaled light bulbs, I'd be poor. So that is your PSA. That is your light bulb update.
LEDs.
And I told you the story where I had the kid on the show, and I'll be very brief. But this kid, he was a student, and I just put him on the show, and I had him sit there and read what you just read, and he's looking at the warning signs, and he's like, evacuate the room. Do not do anything near this. Do not inhale. And I went, hey, by the way, I'm gonna, and I took my keys and I threw it on the ground, and it sounded like he went out that door, and I wish you could get a shot. He literally ran through the door like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. And I'm like...
Or the outfielder.
Did not break that. Dad, last show that we did, I confessed to a crime, the crime of the century. A crime that is so horrific that I am shocked and awed to even speak about it, and I feel sad to even confess it to the people and my viewers, all three of you. Appreciate you, Paul, Matt, Wendy.
You tore the tag off the...
No, I did not. Actually, we spoke about this. There's no tearing of the tag off the mattress, because we do not want the FBI to close in on us. But Panera. I know I sometimes say Panero, But Panera, thank you for providing me all the salad. I've eaten more salad, including what you see in the back. Okay, hold on. If you can go back to the salad there. What you see in the background, yes, the salad. That is actually the equivalent, Dad, of the amount of salad that I've eaten today and this year. Right there. It's my salad showcase. Do you recognize this, sir?
You still have it?
Now, at this point, I wish you could hear this, but Erica in advanced class in that room just broke out into laughter. Because guess what Dean did?
You didn't take it back?
Well, Dad, we did the show. I confessed to my crime that, yes, this is the electronic coaster that they give you, and your food's ready.
Yep.
Well, they know me very well because I go there every day, and they didn't buzz my coaster, and I put it in my pocket. So I come home, and I'm like, hey, look what I got. So I bring it on my show, and I show yes, I know, I'm having a moment. I show, okay, and here's the thing, and it's a great question that my father asked. You didn't bring it back last month after you talked about it on your show and confessed to your crimes and said, and I went to Panera right after the show. But I put it in my bag.
And forgot it.
So today, as I'm writing the show, guess what I see? I'm going, number 44. I promised to return it. I'm going to have to not put it in the show bag. I'm going to have to put it in my pocket, and hopefully I'll return it. But yes, it's a Dean moment. I think my brain is like an Etch-a-Sketch, folks. Sometimes I shake it, and it all goes away, and then I think, why do I still have an electronic coaster from Panera? Just a thought. Okay, Dad. One of the things I love about Muhammad Ali, one of his best quotes was about Vietnam. He goes, I ain't got no fight with those people. You know, sometimes it just comes down to basic common sense. I have got no fight with those people. Why should I do that? And he shook up the world. And one thing about war, I've noticed, all the politicians and all the presidents that send all these young men and women into war, they're not ones to send their own family in, which I've always thought, to a certain extent, seems pretty much hypocrites. What are your thoughts on that? Because it's been brought up that, they're the ones that are shipping in the kids, and yet they're not, 99% of them are not.
Yeah, but a lot of them have not had children who are of age.
True.
And if we go into modern times, John F. Kennedy, who got us involved in Vietnam, as well as, Dwight D. Eisenhower, but his son was only, John was only 2-3 years old, so he couldn't really go in.
Yep.
After that, we haven't had any. The only ones that were able to go in who were of age would have been George W. Bush, who claimed he was in the Air Guard in Texas.
Dad, he was there.
Yeah.
He served his time.
He had his picture in the paper. And
they took a photo of him next to him.
Trump got every kind of, as much money as they had, every kind of deferment as you can possibly think of. Hey, I was just got out of junior college, St. Pete JC, and got my draft notice. I did not open it. Ran down to the Air Force recruiter on Cleveland Street in Clearwater, and the guy says, "Did you get your draft notice?" I said, "I didn't open it." He says, "Okay, we'll sign that," because I'd rather done 4. Not that I'm a coward, I'll serve my country.
Hey.
But there are other jobs than being a ground pounder, and I darn sure wasn't going to go over and get shot. So I did the good thing as a Florida boy. I joined the Air Force and got stationed at Boca Chica Naval Air Station.
There you go. One thing I want to ask is, I was speaking to Wendy, who's a good friend of mine, and we were talking about the Vietnam era, and she had mentioned that there was when you graduated from high school, there was a 6 weeks course that you took, like it was kind of like a prep for college, but if you failed the test, you were automatically put in the pool. And I don't know if that...
No, it's not during my era.
Okay, but
there was no pool.
Okay, but it's a case of...
I've never heard of that.
Neither have I, but it's just a lot of people, fought and died for our freedoms in a war that should never have happened. And just to the point now where, let's not talk about war anymore, but there's a war going on Howard Franklin Bridge. Attention,
What up?
attention, attention. You evil son of a bitch. And yes, this is a family show, but yes, you evil son of a gun. This story, what in the hell is going on here? Cats on the Howard Franklin Bridge, they're finding dead cats that are, in the bridge where they're finding them is,
Just right by the hump.
yeah, and there's no way in God's green earth that cats are going there. And somebody's killing these cats, and they're throwing them on the same side of the road every day. And now we're getting reports of up to 5 and more cats that have. I don't, how we treat animals, Dad, is how we treat ourselves. The old adage of serial killers usually were torturing the animals and then they wind up killing people. Well, guess what, folks? You don't need Criminal Minds or Law and Order to figure that one out. If you're cruel enough to hurt any living creature, something is seriously wrong with you. Something is this. I'm sorry. I'm an animal lover. Anybody that follows me on Facebook, Tampa Grapevine, by the way, most of the photos I post are people that are rescuing animals or even different species of animals that are hanging out together and going, hey, we're cool. Unlike us humans, we tend to, not do that very well at times. But bottom line.
We can't even hang out with each other.
Yes. We can't even do a 4-way stop correctly. So frankly, if we can't drive together, we're having a little problem there. But whoever's doing this, there's a special place in hell for you. Because when you go there, guess what? You're going to be, the cats are going to come in and they go, is this the guy? Yeah. Is this the one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guess what's going to happen for the rest of eternity? We're just going to go meow, meow, and I hope there's cats out there that are going, this is some sick shizzle. What's going on here in Howard Franklin? And whoever you are, this is somebody, I'm sorry, but the laws when it comes to the violence against animals, and this is something that we've talked about, Dad, it's a throwaway society. One of the saddest stories I ever saw was a mother dog. Her puppies were thrown away. Somebody had thrown away her puppies in a trash can. The dog's freaking out, and guess what? Humans came along, realized the mother was stressed out, and they rescued him. Cabela, Cabela. This is a dog that I spoke about numerous times last year. A pit bull that had been taken from her yard or just abandoned by the owners and was put into a dogfighting situation. And those who do that, and there's another special place in hell for you guys that do the dogfighting. And I hope dogs come back to bite you in the ass for that. But Cabela was not a fighter. She was a lover. And she refused. And normally what they do with dogs like that, they'll use them as bait to use the other violent dogs that's trained to kill, and they will just chew. And some of the rescue scenes I've seen of these dogs, the scars on their bodies is beyond amazing. And I know folks, some of people go, oh, Dean, please, I know I talk about the animals, but this is a reflection of society, folks. Because if we have people like this that are willing to sacrifice the lives of any living creature and do something that horrible, and Cabela, she wouldn't fight. So guess what they did? They shot her and tied her to railroad tracks to die. They arrested the 2 men, the monsters that did this, and the dad. It was minimal. And these are future killers of human beings and any other living creature, and you know who you are, and frankly, God will get you, and at least I hope karma does. But Dad, your thoughts on this, because it breaks my heart when I see stories like this. There's so much cruelty in this world, and if we can be cruel to animals like that, it's the next step. They're going to be cruel to you.
Well, I mean, you pretty much summed it up. There's not a whole lot you can go on about that. There's just that the people have no souls.
No. That's a good point.
When they hit the old river Styx and Sharon the boatman's here to take them across into the netherworld, San Diego, he's sitting there going, all right, here comes the guys that killed the animal, and they're going to tip the boat over.
Yeah.
Just, yep, sorry, you're not going to make it.
Yeah, or they're going to go on the river Styx, and the guy's doing the boat thing, and the dog or the cat sitting in the boat's going, yeah, that's him.
Yep.
That's him. Yeah, and they're
Comes
like
over the other side. There's a cat sharpening his
yeah,
claws.
yeah. He's like, shh, shh. Welcome to your nightmare. Thank you, Alice Cooper. Interesting thing here. How much time we got left here? We got about 15 minutes left. Yeah. We're doing good. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, advanced class. Thank you for making us look good when we normally don't. I appreciate that. Sippy cups, bathtub toys, Dad. As someone who helped raise a young man named Jaden when he was a kid, there was always the bathtub toys. There's always, throw in your superheroes, throw in your toys. And the sippy cups are the cup, it's just like, it's the cup that parents
It's got
prefer.
a wide straw.
Exactly. Well, one of the things parents, and they just did a study on the top 12 sippy cups and bathtub toys for mold and mildew. Mm-hmm. What happens is the bathtub toys get the water. The sippy cups, there's the point where the straw is and where like that. Here, and by the way, it's magic, folks, and thank you for that advanced class. That was beautiful. I know I'm easily distracted, but they've tested every one of those toys when it came to just normal use, and guess what they found? Excessive toxins and mold and mildew, because if you don't properly clean them, if you don't use like some type of like hot, put them in the dishwasher or just not let them sit there and continually, normally you would just put the toys like you put in the bathtub up on the side of the bathtub, kid come back, you throw them back in again. I thought about that one day, and I picked up a toy that this young man was playing with, and I'm sorry, my dad's got the Zika virus, so please do not be alarmed. You'll be okay. In fact, Dad, I brought you the Zika pill. This is the Zika pill. Folks, I've come up with a solution to the Zika virus, but we also need a solution to when it comes to toys that young children who are, well, I know, everything has to be, but it is something that needs to be aware of. Sorry, it's my PSA for the day. Trash. My God, Tropical Storm Colin, who came in, guess what exposed? All the trash that's in the bay.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Pushed it right up on the shore. So
I bet all those people on Bayshore love that.
Oh, yeah. You can imagine.
Wait a minute.
Thank you.
Call Buckhorn. Tell him to get that
Yeah.
personally. Come down and pick that stuff up.
Exactly. The
See
multitude
Kellys are out there,
soda cans. There was another thing here. It was just beyond ridiculous the amount of trash. And one of the things when we still haven't remember the Malaysian airline plane that went down?
Yeah.
We still haven't found. They looked and looked and looked, and guess what they found, Dad?
Trash.
They found water bottles. They found there is an island in the middle of the ocean in
the
folks,
Pacific.
In the Pacific, thank you.
It's bigger than Texas.
It's bigger than Texas. And guess what that island's made of?
Plastic.
Trash.
Yes.
So next time you see a dolphin or a turtle wash up on the shore, or just you and anybody washing up at the shore, and when something like a tropical storm, guess what a tropical storm or hurricane does? It brings everything to the shore.
Well, the one thing to remember, if you go boating, it's much like they say when you go hiking, the only thing you leave is footprints. When you go boating, the only thing you leave is a wake. Any plastic bags or turtles will eat them. Don't throw anything overboard. That's what the other 5-gallon bucket for. That's your trash bucket. And make sure it's in a secure place where you're going so the wind doesn't blow all the stuff out.
Amen. Can I get a witness? Then there was Jesus, and Jesus.
Speaking of boating, read Chapman. Half you idiots out there haven't got a clue what you're doing with a boat.
What this man said.
Half, 90%. Never even heard of Chapman.
Dad, we can't drive cars. You think they can drive boats? I mean, come on. Jesus. Some of the things they found, of course, number 1 on the list, plastic. Number 2, plastic. Number 3, plastic. Then shoes and lighters. So for those who are shoeless and clueless and lighting things and throwing it in the bay, stop.
On that same vein, I was talking to my friend in Anchorage, John Hagen, and you guess what's washing up in Anchorage right now?
What, the Japanese stuff?
All of it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He went down to by Earthquake Park, and he says the whole area was just littered with all this stuff coming over from Japan.
A good tsunami can really cleanse out the whole Pacific Ocean, and it'll bring it to an area near you. And you look up and you're thinking, we've got 10 minutes left, thank you, advanced class, but we have less time than that, folks, because if Earth was an apartment complex, we would not get our deposit back.
Oh, God.
Because we have really...
They hit you up with an extra cleaning bill.
The cleaning bill alone would be excessive. That's all I'm saying. Okay, Dad, breaking news. Dateline, Tampa Grapevine. We have a bomb scare. No, it's not at the Trump rally, although there's a lot of, hot gas going on there. Dateline, burrito causes Oklahoma bomb scare. Folks, in Oklahoma, a burrito was found in a police station, and it was wrapped up in aluminum foil, and they thought it was a bomb. Now Oklahoma City, 1995. Yeah. I'm sure they're still but folks, what they were worried the most about this burrito, the gas explosion. That's all I'm saying, Dad. So
well,
beware.
At least it wasn't in New Mexico. They got the hottest hot sauce I've ever had.
Well, if we go ghost chili pepper on you folks, you're just gonna have to, we're gonna have to talk about that. Okay, my phone, my lovely 3G phone. And by the way, I want to thank the guy that sold me this phone because it was already planned obsolescence when I traded in my old phone, my flip phone. Dad, this kid was so young. I handed him my flip phone, and he looks at me. Thank you, advanced class, and he goes, "What?" He didn't know what to do. He didn't. I was like, "What is it? Are you handing me like an 8-track player from the '60s? Have you time traveled, son? Have you gone from the past and handed me technology that I'm not aware of?" Well, this phone, and people make fun of me about my phone. This phone is possessed. It
does. It calls me all the time.
It does. Even when I'm not calling. Even, Dad, I love you, and we talk to each other every day. But this phone, when I bought it, I knew there was something wrong because when I plugged it in the very first night at 2:30 in the morning, guess what my phone did? While I was sleeping, and while the phone was charging and sleeping.
Called your mom.
Called my mom.
Well, you called me twice last week from your office, and you never knew it.
I never knew it. But here's the funny part. You picture this. Paul James Insurance, thank you folks, and thank you Paul and Casey and Nathan and everyone at Allstate. I've been working there since February, and I know my dad gets choked up about it, but I love you, Dad. And by the way, thank you Paul James Insurance for not only lowering my car insurance, but lowering my dad's. They actually, between the two of us, we're saving like $150 a month on insurance, so thank you, Jesus. But my phone, I'm sitting there at work. Okay, I'm sitting at the desk by the door, and I'll suddenly we hear and there's like a real estate school, there's the dental school, there's other business there. So you get the traffic, you get the people. So you hear the people. Well, Dad, suddenly we're hearing like woo-hoo, some weird noise, and all of us kind of looked at each other like what in the world's you hear some strange stuff going on outside of your office. So I open up the door. Looking around, nothing. So I go back to work. All of a sudden, it sounded like a whole crowd of people. Like we're talking like a Trump rally outside the door, and we're all looking at each other. So I open up.
Yeah, but that would be like that, all incoherent babble.
Good point, Dad. Love you. Good point. Duly noted. I open up the door again, Dad, and I'm like, "What's going on here?" So okay, no sound. My phone is in my pocket, okay? I'm not even thinking this is the source of what we're hearing.
The culprit.
5 minutes left. Netflix. I love you, Netflix. Somehow, on my phone, it downloaded the Netflix app, started a TV. I already had the app. It downloaded and it played a show called The Following, which is Kevin Bacon, the 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. But it's a very violent show. Well, guess when I realized that there was something really going wrong here? When the car chase and the shooting started to happen. So at this point, Dad, I'm working in an insurance company. I'm selling car insurance, and now I'm thinking there is a car.
We're under assault.
We're under, yeah. It's going down. It's going down, and there's gunfire.
Protect the women and the children. They're coming for us.
Protect the women and children. And at that point, I look down and I realize, and this is a family show, folks, but I realize that in my pants there is a car chase and shooting, which that's the first time in my entire life I've used that term regarding my pants. I pull out my phone, and what do I see? It's playing the TV show, what we've been listening to for 20 minutes, and we're thinking, oh my God, it's going down. They're coming to get us. Yeah, exactly. They're shooting us. And my phone is going, I just happened to decide to play a TV show that, by the way, is very violent and will frankly make you think, what's going on outside the door? I'm going to set the phone down and
step away from it.
Step away from the phone, folks. Step away from the phone.
It's all right. It'll call me.
Yeah.
I'm expecting it to call
exactly.
any time now.
And frankly, the conversation that you and the phone have, I'm a little jealous, guys. But the dash is that, the dash. It's on your tombstone when you die. The year you're born, Muhammad Ali, 1942, 2016, that dash is your life. It's how you spend the dash. And I want to dedicate this to everyone that has fought and died for their freedoms. We have 3 minutes left, and I'm going to read the dash. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all is that dash between your ears. For that dash represents all time that was spent alive on earth. For now, only those who love them know what that little time is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that still can be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real and always try to understand the way other people feel. Be less quick to anger and show appreciation more. Love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read, when your life's actions are being rehashed, would you be proud of the things they say and how you spent your dash?
I love that.
God bless America.
That's great.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to hopefully know the difference. And that's what and I've often said this, Dad, if you rise above and bring other people with you, be a mentor. Educate your children. Don't let them simply just look at their phones and their tablets and think that they're being occupied. Treat our children well. We have just a few seconds left. Love you, Mom. Love you, Dad. God bless America. Vaya con Dios. Good night and
Pass
good luck.
it forward.
Pass it forward and pay it forward.
That's what I
love you. And we still have 1 second left. And
if
we're
what you
good.
see and hear in this picture will keep one of you, only one person, from taking that first step, our purpose has been accomplished, and we are humbly thankful.
Listen in tomorrow, same time, same station. Time marches on.
Wit is the only wall between us and the dark.